All right, guys, so let's talk about how you can retire rich on a very small nest egg. I know it sounds crazy, but it's absolutely true. And we're going to talk about three major things that you absolutely can conquer today to absolutely enjoy a very rich retirement on a very small nest egg. Guys, it just drives me nuts when I think about retirement. I think about everything that's out there, and so much information out there is based upon the past, this traditional way that just doesn't exist for the vast majority of us here. And more importantly, it's not even necessary. That's the beauty of today's world, where we have access to more than anything we've ever wanted than any other time in history. But on the flip side, because we have access to so much, if you really focus on the important things, you realize you don't need all that stuff. So let's jump into this so you too can retire rich on a very small nest egg. So number one, you have to get real. You have to stop chasing Hallmark life moments and this picturesque, Instagram-worthy retirement or life in retirement or all this other stuff that is 100% fake in the first place. And more importantly, it's not even realistic. Why in the world are we chasing all these things that aren't real? They're not even in the realm of possibility. Oh, and by the way, in order to do a lot of those sorts of things, you gotta have tens of millions of dollars in the bank. So you have to understand your limitations with all that. You have to get real. It's kind of like, back in the day, I can remember this a lot, and it was kind of funny, but we would watch Friends. Everybody knows the show Friends. And you'd see these guys, and they were unemployed part of the time, or, unemployed actor. And, I think Chandler was the only one that made any money out of the group. Other ones were a waitress, and, they worked at Bloomingdale. I mean, just all these kind of entry-level jobs, nothing wrong with that. But then they live in this incredible apartment in the heart of New York City. I mean, that apartment would have cost more than all of them made combined. But yet, yeah, they both lived in the same, pretty nice building in a massive apartment by New York standards. I get it. It made the show great and it made it fun. And obviously you needed all that space for all those actors to be in one area, but it wasn't anywhere close to what the actual reality of working those types of jobs and living in New York entails, even with roommates. It wasn't even the world of possibility. It was completely out of possibility, out of the realm of, what was actually possible. And most people are not being real. They're chasing something that's not even in the realm of possibility for the vast majority of people out there. Focus on the other positives that you have right now instead of those Hallmark type moments. Focus on spending more time with family. Focus on getting healthier. Focus on doing things that actually improve your quality of life, not materialism, not all the other things, not having big stuff or big vacations or anything else like that. Focus on the positives of being able to retire instead, which includes the things that are actually important in life, like spending time with your family and friends and doing things that you want to do, not having those Hallmark moments in life. And oh, by the way, there's no such thing as a perfect retirement. So everybody chasing a perfect retirement, you're not being real. That is not true. Even those folks who have tens of millions of dollars and they're able to achieve that Hallmark life in retirement, they're not any happier than you are or anybody else I know that's retired and is very, very happy on a lot less. We have experts in our Blacklist community that live in their vehicles. We have others that travel in RVs, and they are happier than the vast majority of people I know out there, including my friends who happen to have multiple houses that they're able to retire to and they can go to, and they're still not as happy as the individuals who are living a very simple life because they figured out what was important. They got real, and therefore they're very happy in their retirement. Next up, get uncomfortable. In order for you to actually be able to retire on a small nest egg here, or really to be able to retire at all, because most people are going to work for the rest of their lives, even though you don't know it, you're going to work for the rest of your life most likely. Statistically, that's what's going to happen. But for all of us to be able to achieve what we want, you have to get uncomfortable. You have to do something that sounds crazy, because guess what? Unless you're already on that path to retirement, you're already retired, your retirement's secure, and you have no worries in retirement, what you've been doing for the past 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 40 years, depending upon your age out there, is not working, and you have to get uncomfortable. Now, let me give you guys a scenario here and show you how getting uncomfortable creates an incredible opportunity for you to retire on a very, very, very small nest egg here. We're talking $300,000 or less of a nest egg here in regards to being able to retire. Now, imagine somebody paying your mortgage, taxes, and your insurance. Imagine take all those bills off the table, even if you paid off your mortgage. Imagine somebody paying for your taxes and your insurance and all the bills around your house, your electricity, your cable, your water. Imagine not caring what the electricity bill is because somebody else is paying for it. Well, guess what? You can have that if you're willing to get uncomfortable and house hack. I have lived this way for over a decade, and I can never imagine paying rent, mortgage, or whatever again. And you have no idea the security that that allows me. It doesn't matter that I have all the things that I have and all the asset bases that I have and everything else. All of it could go away tomorrow. And I know I don't need a whole lot of money coming in at all because I don't pay for my mortgage. I don't pay my insurances. I don't pay my taxes and everything else involved in living in an incredibly large beach home. I don't pay for any of that because I've taken this strategy. I've done it rinse and repeat over the years. I got better at it, of course. And now I'm able to use the same exact strategy by finding the right property, being patient, and all those other sort of things like that, and using the house hacking method to have somebody else pay for all of this. But it required me getting uncomfortable more than a decade ago. Once I got over that and I started doing this, obviously my wealth exploded even more because now you don't have all those bills in line hurting you at all. Imagine how much smaller of a nest egg you need if you exclude all of that stuff out of your budget. When you sit down, you do your retirement budget and you're going line item by line item by line item. Imagine there's money coming in from a secondary source, not your primary source, that pays for the mortgage, pays for all of those bills associated with your living situation. House hacking created that for me, and it has done it for me every single year since then. And I can't imagine a time in my life where I won't have that happen in the future, because to me, it's just burning money at this stage because I know how to do it. I'm comfortable with it. I got uncomfortable at the beginning, so now I'm super comfortable with it, and I'm uncomfortable paying all that money out of pocket again. It doesn't matter that I have the money to pay it out of pocket. That is totally irrelevant. The facts are, if you want to retire on a small nest egg, or that's all you have is a small nest egg, you're going to have to get uncomfortable. And that is the perfect example of how, if you get uncomfortable with that, it completely changes your financial future. And lastly, you need to lower your expenses. I know this one seems obvious, but I'm always shocked when I sit down with folks to go through their personal financial situation, how much of it, when they're like, I just can't figure out a way to retire. I can't figure out how to do it. And they've actually, in the case of the blacklist, they've actually gone through the materials in there. They've actually done the exercises we said to lower your expenses. But then I look at their expenses and they didn't do it. And I'll point out, hey, what's this? What's this subscription? What's going on with that over there? Why do you still have car payments? You got to get rid of those subscriptions. You got to get rid of car payments. You got to get rid of the alcohol in general. Not only is it healthier for you, but it'll save you a crap ton of money. Choose to watch a movie in instead of going out. Go on a hike instead of a night out. It's not only is it healthier for you, it'll save you a ton of money as well. And I know some folks out there, you got to shop. You got to do that thing. I don't know, whatever. You just derive happiness from it. Okay, I got it. Go thrifting. Figure that piece out instead of actually shopping at the mall or online or whatever the case is, where you're going to spend a lot more money. Heck, I'm not going to go through all the different things. Just throw it in your Google machine there, how to cut your expenses down on your budget. And there will be hundreds of ideas of things that you can cut there without actually cutting out your quality of life. It may feel like it's cutting out your quality of life, but in the end, it's actually not, because in most cases, we are all wasting money on things that we don't need, we don't use, or there's a healthier or cheaper alternative out there that is just as good. And there's actually one strategy that absolutely might very well wipe away and be more impactful than everything we just talked about. Everything we just talked about is very, very important and can absolutely create a scenario where you can retire in a very small nest egg. But there's one strategy that absolutely trumps all of them. And we're going to talk about that in the next video on this channel. So make sure you're subscribed to this channel, so that way, turn the notifications bell on and everything else like that. So that way, you know when that video drops, because that's going to be critical information, especially for folks with a really, really small nest egg or no chance at really being able to build up a nest egg. The reason why is completely irrelevant. The point is, it's going to be able to give you an alternative that can absolutely get you there. So make sure you're subscribed, so that way you know exactly when that video drops. And also make sure you check out the pinned comment down there for the blacklist if you want a step-by-step process for going from zero to hero on as little as $300,000 and as short of a time frame as a year. That's how the program is designed. So check out the pinned comment down there. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.